And on their name, put some respect. Yeah. I think it's time for reality check. Yeah, reality check. Gotta get you back on cold. Reality check. For the young and the old. Reality check. Yeah, to heal your soul. Reality check. Get ready for the show.
What up, though? What up, though? Who's that? Who is that fantastic, beautiful woman over? Oh, that's E. I'm sorry.
Oh, Dr. Winters, you are too much. You are too much.
I'm old. You got. Don't do this to me. No. Don't do this to an old man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm here. I'm happy that we are here for another episode of Reality Check.
Reality check. I got to check and see what the reality is. I don't know. Tonight, family, we're talking about what's going on. How you doing now, Joanne Biddle? We're talking about, in a sense, the devil. And I'm kind of looking around because I'm scared. You're laughing, but I'm scared.
That's how it is too. You start talking about certain topics and people get very weary or afraid, or they just are very confused and concerned. Why would you want to talk about that? You don't want to talk about that.
No, we don't want to talk about that because look at this. This is it's this technology has taken us over. I mean, I tried hard. My baby doll, my wife, I used to always see her on her phone, and I used to say, "Damn, get out of here," because she was really good with her phone. She could do all that stuff with her phone. I'm still a computer person, but my baby doll, she could do that stuff, and so I said, "Damn, what is this?" But now I'm addicted to the phone. I had to have my phone. I have to look at my phone. I have to get on there, and it's kind of scary, and it is scary. Don't you think it's scary the way technology is taking over?
Absolutely. I see heads in phones walking. I've seen people walking into things because they're not paying attention to where they're going. People are not having conversations. People in the same house are not having conversations. My daughter tried to text me the other day from her room. I had to tell her, no, you need to walk yourself down the stairs and come talk to me. Because then the opposite is that she's just, yelling down the stairs. No, you're not about to do that either. You need to come see me.
Yeah. But I mean, you get used to that stuff because see, the technology, back in the day when it first erupted, with the internet and the World Wide Web, it was kind of interesting. People had self-control then. People didn't put everything on it, but now just about everything is just about on it. I mean, people are just, they let whatever come on their mind, dictate to them. You know what I'm saying?
I do. It's almost like there's no filter. You get to say whatever you want. You get to portray whatever you want. You get to look up whatever you want. Now there is nobody's holding you back and nobody's saying no. So, with those sort of inhibitions, with those things in play without having any restrictions on them, I think that it can be a very scary land to be navigating.
Yeah, the Black Mother Wound says, I'm the same. I don't remember going. I had coffee in the morning before YouTube Shorts. I mean, daggone, you're right. You want to look at so much, and they're about to take away TikTok from the young people. Mm-hmm. Because the Congress, they voted that if they don't sell TikTok, that they're going to ban it. I mean, he's not going to sell that. That's money.
No,
That's money.
the government trying to censor, because that's what it boils down to at the end of the day, a bunch of censorship. They're trying to blanket statement things saying that the Chinese government is trying to spy on us, and I don't know why other governments wouldn't be trying to spy on us as much as haven't we kind of already allowed all of these people to look at what we're doing anyway, just with what we're already putting out there publicly. And then you got the dark net, so then people are doing even more crazy stuff that you don't even want to think about.
And then people are, it's very, very difficult. But I think, that whole thing about TikTok, I think it's about money, and remember, that's the only platform not owned by those people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say anymore, but it's not owned by those people.
Right. There's a very real monopoly in the things that program us. And that one right now it's booming because people can do whatever they want for the most part.
Within limits.
Right. But then, then you've got, well, now they're threatening to take it away. So then people are trying to find other sources, other avenues. Can they create one? I feel like that keeps happening every time they say they're going to take TikTok away. People start going into a creative boom. How can we do our own?
Yeah, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult because those people, they monopolize it. It's two threats. There's two threats to those people having complete control. Elon Musk and TikTok. See, they're not of that tribe. And I think that's scary. It is very scary to them because remember, in a sense, is that right now, even though the internet is devilish, right now it's the only place where you can go and maybe get real news. I mean, that news we're getting now, especially in regards to what's happening in the Middle East and what happened in Ukraine, that's shown completely. Back in the day when I was a kid, Malcolm X talked about the fact is that you can see the same news on every channel, and we're even seeing it there. Even NPR, National Public Radio, I love it. But now National Public Radio is also trying to support those themes. Support Ukraine is winning the war. It's okay to kill thousands of people in Gaza. It's crazy. That's devilish to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. The censorship and monopoly. And then, I feel like there's a few wild cards on the opposite side of the fence, right? Like Elon Musk is one of those wild cards. TikTok, a wild card. Trump, I think Trump is a wild card on the opposite side of the table where, we've got these people or entities that don't really like to say that they follow anybody's lead as much as they follow their own lead and where they're going. And then I guess if you've got a bag big enough to, suppress their appetite, then maybe they'll fall in line with you for a little while. But they seem to keep having their own thoughts, and having your own thoughts is kind of dangerous when you're up against systems that say, no, we want everybody to have the same thought. So,
and that's probably true. Go Travel Abroad said, I think the internet is an amplifier. It can spread light or darkness, wider than ever before. And that may be true, but a lot of it, in a sense, it's a demand. It's a demand. Just think about this: is that we're looking at a devilish thing, and yet we know more. We know more about what's happening in the Black community today than we've known in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons is because people can get on Facebook and Twitter and other programs, and they can say, "Oh, so and so got shot. It was a murder here. The police did this, or this Black woman was abused here, or this Black guy needs some help." I mean, it is so much. It is so much knowledge from this devilish instrument, but it's mainly through social media. And I hate to really look at it, because the fact is that you always be afraid that one day they're going to say, "Hey, we got to shut this down," because we don't have any. I'm living in Chicago. We used to have the Defender. We don't have any Black newspapers anymore. The Black, like Ebony, Ebony and all the other publications, they're owned by Africans and Caribbeans, and
Mhm.
the staffs in most of these places are Caribbeans. And I taught at I'm gonna stop talking so much, but I taught at this suburban school for 46 years. I taught in Chicago public schools. Okay, then in 2019, I decided I was going to go back to work for a while because my social club was draining a lot of money. So I went back to work, so I was teaching in the suburban areas. And see, what I found is that many of the immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean, often they don't live in the black community. Often these immigrants, they grow up in white communities, and they become they feel so inferior. They feel so inferior to the Europeans. They won't fight like it was several Africans at the school. I was teaching in Calumet City at and so then it was several Africans there, but they wouldn't talk to the black teachers, but they were always trying to talk to the white teachers, and it's really sad, but there's many people in a sense because of the fact that they don't know how to move away from this devil, and they don't know how to fight it. Sometimes they lose themselves. They lose their sense of reality. They need a reality check.
We do need a reality check. That's a hell of a circle you just made, because the monopolies that we were just talking about, they do put buffer class people in charge of these little sects of people on the internet, and then you would conglomerate around it because it sounds like something familiar to you, and then you get there and it's a bunch of ratchetness. It's a bunch of things that you don't necessarily support, that we have participated in, because everybody has their own shit, but we're not perfect, and yeah, there's some stuff, but then you really start digging, and like you said, a lot of the people who are owning these platforms are not us, but they're marketing to us. They don't even live around us. It's like, okay, if y'all don't really rock with us, then why are you so heavily invested on what we're ingesting, what we're taking in, the programming of it all? And I find that it is to allow certain devils in without you even knowing that it's there. And now it's like, I guess, the snake in the garden.
Yeah, it probably is. How you doing, Zachary Holmes? But I think it's more complicated. It's more complicated, but it's simple. And the simple reality is this: is that they need us. They need us. Because I mean, I remember back in the day, and back in the 80s, and then a lot of black people they started tying a lot of the women, they started tying their pants around the ankles. They started putting shoestrings around the ankle, and they were tying them. Next thing you know, that was a fashion craze. And so then it's so much because of the fact that we dominate this culture, because this culture is us. Then therefore, in a sense, I think that at the same time that you have this devil instrument, it's still trying to use us to be able to make reality. They use us to create culture, even though in a sense, even though they try to tell you have no culture, and American culture is our culture, true. But the
Absolutely.
point is this: they still want to make you feel that you're cultureless. You know.
That's that's a tough pill to swallow, because a lot of us grew up learning that slavery was the first mention of us, because essentially it's all white people, then boom, there's some slaves, and yeah, they're y'all. And then you grow up and you're like, okay, that doesn't necessarily make sense, but I don't know if I have time to really do the research. You be around people who've done the research, so then maybe you accept certain things. But at the end of the day, you're the start to your knowledge seeking or learning was that you started in servitude, and not even where you were getting paid at the end of the servitude. No, this servitude was forever. And if they could have ended us at the end at 1865, I think they would have taken us out if they could have, but it's too many of us. I think it was a numbers thing. And what you said about the culture thing, we are necessary to make it here in 2024. Without us, it doesn't happen like this. The ingenuity, the technology, the things that we've done to make life
Right.
easier. Um, but the devil in the technology. You can't have your house cool down in the summertime without us. So they want to make it negative. They want us to, not to see what we've done as part
Yeah.
of our culture. They want us to just make it a one-off. Oh, that just happened once, or oh, that happened. Things can't just things can't just keep happening once and it not be a pattern. And then if there is a pattern, then I think our culture is a culture of ingenuity, creativity, and technology. Oh, I like that. What Go Travel Abroad said.
What did she say?
We are the engine of manifest destiny.
Ah, that's deep. And in a way, she's absolutely correct. Look at this. Not only do we invent my favorite invention of all time. My favorite invention of all time is toilet tissue. And the reason it is that back in the day we used to have newspaper, and you had to get used
Oh,
to
yeah, to make it smoother, softer.
yeah, had to make it smooth and kind of rub it before you could wipe your. And so when they invented toilet tissue, it was okay. But look at this. This devil depends on us. It was a brother, because remember, they made the internet so they could communicate if it was in a nuclear war. A brother was the first one to make it so that you could add platforms on the internet. It was a brother who invented the resistor. Yes, we invented the resistor. We invented the first laptop. We invented the first cell phone. It's nothing. There would be no technology. There would be no anything without us because of what we've done. And yet they've successfully been able to teach us that we have no involvement in this devil. Yes, we made the devil. You see, we can't control the devil because they have the money, but we made this thing. It would not be nothing without us.
That's real. I see that when I find us pushing messages that don't make sense. And it's because, if you can get us to attach to it, then we can get other people to attach to it. Mm-hmm. So even though, it's not even an original thought for us, that is the trendsetter nature of our culture. And, if enough of us are participating, well, then other people will say, oh yeah, look at what them niggas is doing over there. That sounds kind of cool. And now you've got other people dressing up like us, wearing our costume, girls with cornrows or white boys with fades. What is that? Where are we? That's something that we have to claim because they're out here telling everybody that this is a new trend.
Right.
A fade is a new trend. When my brother's been getting fades his whole life, this is ours. But it's so ours that we haven't put our stamp on it. And now they're using technology to try to whitewash.
You're absolutely correct. It's whitewashing. And, the thing is that we're so creative. And because of our creativity, then therefore, in a sense, we overlook a lot of things. That's why we've let so many musical genres pass, like Dewan Brown, he was talking about the other day is what's next, because see, this whole hip hop, they're trying to make this a big thing. And how Europeans, they don't want to let nothing go. It's making money for them. But that's one of the reasons that I love what Yoshimada is doing and other people are doing, is that we had to create a new genre of music. And yet we had to move further. And as you said, we take for granted so much what we do. How you doing, J Bags? We take for granted everything that we do, and this is a problem. This is a problem. Oh, oh yeah, yeah, J Bags. This is interesting. On Sunday, I was on this brother radio program in Ohio, and J Bags. I enjoyed hearing you on Straight Talk Live this past Sunday. Magic. It was going on. We had a very good conversation. We were talking about everything. I was talking about my new book. So I really enjoyed it. But the thing is that's what we need. We have to get these things because see, right now, because of this devil, this is where you can put a radio program on the air. This is where you can get things started, This is where you can do things. And I think that it's very difficult, but because of the fact that people because the fact in the sense that people don't know their history, they catch what's called CAIDS. And CAIDS is culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. And what that is that because of the fact in a sense we don't know our history, we often lose our immunity to whiteness. As we lose our immunity to whiteness, as we lose our immunity to whiteness, we therefore, in a sense, lose our identity as Black people, and we begin to think we're white, or we want to think we're near white or whatever. And then to capitalize and to really be able to really be a real white person is if we can get that white guy, or we can get that white gal, especially brothers, if they can get some white thighs, they're okay. But here's the whole problem: here's the whole problem is that a white woman can't love you. And because a white woman can't love you, now she can screw you, but she can't love you. And the reason she can't love you is that to love something, you have to respect it, you see. And I mean, hey, but a white woman, so how can she love you when she's been taught to disrespect you, you see? And see, she's been taught to disrespect you based upon this devil, and it's being able, in a sense, to control the media that influences people and lead people down a false path, you see. But we have to fight the devil, but at the same time, you have to find a way to use the devil. I know you're very popular on I think it's on Twitter, you're on the late night programs and all that. But some of that could be very devilish, because sometimes you guys are arguing and I don't see how you can take it. Give me a headache.
No, that's very real. I try to limit those nonsensical conversations. They make my head hurt too. Also, I have a very real problem with keeping my attention where it needs to be. So people doing all that, I can't even focus on the conversation anymore. But the devil and the technology, you just brought up a point about the control of the media. And I think that is, where that's where the disconnect happens. Because while we've made this technology that people can abuse, I guess it's like a gun. I have zero issues with weapons, with guns, with people's Second Amendment rights, with protecting yourself, and believe that that's what you should do. However, some bad people have access to guns, and I can't sit here and try to tell everybody that we can't have guns. No, I feel like people should get learned. People should know how to use the tool. And then if they come up against one of those bad people, then maybe they're the ones who are standing at the end of the day. But people like to shy away from, they hear that the media is under control, or people control the media. So, well, now we can't use it. Bullshit. No. Just like you said with the reporting of the news and how there's no Black newspapers in Chicago anymore. It's a tool that we can use. It's a tool that we created. And even though we don't have this control over it, we've been a very savvy people, a very clever people, and, navigating in and around what they've got going on. That's part of our culture too, because if we couldn't, then maybe we wouldn't be here like this. I don't know.
But it is true. But see, but in terms of this technology and it's being able to use it. But the point is this: is that they have the infrastructure, so we only get the crumbs of it, and therefore, in a sense, is that since there's a big devil, and this big devil in a sense is the internet, but it's how you use it. For example, when people in the early 2000s, when they started in a sense using it really as a way to be deceptive. For example, some of these this catfishing, and then a lot of these old people are getting on these young people programs. They're in gaming programs, and then they'll set up a meeting with a young girl or a young boy, and then they'll maybe rape them or kidnap them, and then they're using the media now to try to always, it's always something negative, and that things can start off so good, but for some reason, just like with the internet, it becomes a negativeness that is perpetuated by people. How you doing, Yoshi Mod? Yoshi.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. But I would like to see us not be such a victim. If it's something that we've created, we should be able to take it back with toys or with class. It's not going to look like what people think. Like if you're on the basketball court and somebody takes your ball and then you take your ball back. It's not going to look like that, because I think that every one-on-one situation we've had with them, it's always been in our favor, maybe always been in our favor. And a lot of times when they're combating us, it's an ambush type of attack. So then it would always be in their favor. We can even the playing field just by making sure that people are knowledgeable and understanding of the tools. Again, people get scared about guns, but am I right? Not the first guns, it came from fireworks. Like gunpowder came from fireworks. So this beautiful thing, what's the purpose of a firework except for to be pretty in the sky? Is there a purpose of a firework, Dr. Winters?
Yeah, to be pretty in the sky and to use the celebrations and to get people to say, ah.
So you can take this frivolous, pretty thing and then make it something that harms people. Not that it wouldn't have harmed you, if you got in the way of the firework exploding or being let off, but to actually make it a tool to harm people, that is when we've got distinctions over the technology. And as tools evolve, that's technology, or at least I think that's technology.
That's right, because like originally the whole idea of the robot was to make something that could help out individuals, help maybe old people, maybe babysit, things like that. But now they want to make robot armies. They want to make in a sense these soldiers. They're trying to make these machines flexible. They had this big thing I know last year, and they're talking about AI, artificial intelligence, and how it's going to be our enemy. But AI is anti-black. Everything is always anti-black, and because just like all of this. These cameras, they got them around the city. Every city is loaded with cameras, and they're able, in a sense, to be able to go facial recognition. But they're always racist, because if the Chinese made it, they mainly practice on Chinese. If white people made it, they mainly practice on white people. So anything that they do always become anti-us. And it's interesting, isn't it, that even with the technology, that how it's always made in a way that is going to attack us as foundational Black Americans.
Absolutely. It's like, I don't know if they're going out of their way, but like you just said, if the prototype is practiced around, one group of people, then they're not actually accounting for this other group of people. I know that there's classes about the racism in technology because of the programmers and how, I guess the mainframes, or don't get me started. I have no clue what I'm talking about, but how it's developed and the people developing it, their racism can be put on display with how the machine is operating. I want to say it was one of the original self-driving cars ran into somebody because it couldn't see them, but not because it couldn't see them. It was just the person was too dark. But then is the person too dark? I don't understand.
Yeah, but see that's because the way they do AI. But Go Travel Abroad said it concerns me that the kids are becoming consumers of digital media rather than pursuing ownership in the supply chain. Where's Black Microsoft, Black Google? One of the reasons is that I can tell you where it is. Go Travel Abroad. The reason that we don't have that is it's money. It's how do you get the money? Many average foundational Black American doesn't want to give up cash for anything. They don't even want to pay for education. They don't want to pay for medical bills. And so then, because of the fact that we're always too broke, we're always too poor. We claim we're always too broke, we're always too poor. But people can always buy some Nikes. They can always buy, and don't say nothing about brothers with that Jack Daniels and sisters. Damn, they gonna get their fingernails done. They gonna get those eyelashes. And they're going to get the makeup. And I like lipstick because my wife wore lipsticks all the time. She could kiss. What am I talking about? Where am I going? Catch me. But anyway, I like lipstick. But the thing is, this is that it's this whole idea of what do you do? What do you do when you need money for the infrastructure? You see, Richardson. This is kind of interesting. You know, Russell Richardson said they use technology as an extension of their anti-blackness. They do because see, the whole point is this: is that why is AI racist? AI is racist is that they load into AI all the books, all the articles, all the research. And since the research is anti-black, then AI is going to be what? Anti-black.
Yep.
I got a GPT. And so I was trying to do certain things, but if I don't say it the right way, they won't produce it right, you know.
Actually, let me ask you this in real time.
Go ahead.
Narmer and Nimrod, is that the same person?
Yeah, he's the same person.
Now, I got into an argument with ChatGPT about Narmer and Nimrod, and it told me that they were two different people from two different time periods. But once you start inserting more information, you know, third millennium BCE or 3,000 years BCE, well, now they start saying, they might be the same time period. And then they start talking about the where, you know, where they are. And I find that if you can tell it more information, then it'll be like, you got me. You're actually right. And this information is over here, but it's not widely accepted. That's been the end of my ChatGPT conversations where, you know, yes, that's out there, but it's not.
But see, you had to understand is that the literature is all a lie. I did a thing on Nimrod and Nimar, but I didn't do it for the public. It was on a private thing. I'm gonna do it live. But see, the thing is this is that they've conditioned you to believe all these things. See, the internet right now is devilish because the fact is this is that we don't have any black researchers who are really in a sense looking at what stuff that's coming out, you know. As a result, what you find in a sense is they're regurgitating everything that the Europeans have told them, you know. For example, if you got Native American background, if you got Black Indian, that's because some Indians owned you as a slave. No, the original Aborigines were Black. But the point is this is that because people didn't do research in that area until I did the research, then therefore in a sense they're teaching people that you had to been the slave of an Indian when we're the ones who gave the red man this type of support. And so what happens is that ignorance can hurt you. Ignorance is not neutral, you know, but ignorance can hurt you.
Absolutely. I was thinking about the Nefertiti bust that was fraud that that they made, and then they put it in the dirt, and then they brought it out the dirt like, look at what we found. And then everything that I've learned from, I guess, your primary research, that means that you went and you put your hands
in research. Yeah.
It's there. The colors were all there. You know, if they wanted to make someone white, they could have made them white. You know, they make people, or they tried to, put them as close to life as possible. And I find that when we're not reading and we're accepting what they're telling us is true, we have disconnects with common sense. Like we know that these artists and architects were very skilled and they could make whatever, but then we'll say, oh, well, they told us that they were Black like that because they didn't have any more colors. They would have made them another color, but they didn't have any more. Like, what
they only had red, it's just like, and then, like Alexander von Buddenau, it's heads that they made in Mesoamerica this big, and that they have the fine features, the Africoid features and everything. But see, that's the beauty of the internet, is that even though the internet is devilish, a lot of people have been able to go and get the pictures and the resources, and they've been putting them online, and you can see this good stuff, But see, our problem is that we don't have, That's one of the reasons why I teach my research class. I've taught 4 research classes so far, and the people who've taken my classes, they've written articles, some have written books, and because the thing is this is that you had to move away from these regurgitators, these people in a sense who are just telling you aspects of your history, but they're not really doing the research so that they can present it to the people. Because see, we have a pandemic, and this pandemic is CAIDS, culturally acquired immune identity deficiency syndrome. Because the fact that we don't know our history, because the fact in the sense that we failed in a sense to try to teach our children, you see, then therefore in a sense our children are being lost every day. Adults are being lost every day, you know?
It sounds like AIDS is like the melting pot that they tried to force feed me in elementary school. Like, America is a melting pot because, once you become an American, you lose all of everything else and you assimilate to the American culture. But then we were the only people who did that. And the Jamaicans still got to be Jamaican and the Haitians still got to be Haitian.
Right.
Carnival, and they get to do all of the things that
all the good stuff.
Right.
They could go and they could strip in Louisiana and have carnival and all that, and we were just supposed, oh Lord, Lord, bring home the Lord. Sing some Negro spiritual.
Right. We wading in the water and they get to go with some beads and have some good time.
My grandmother back in the day, if you started singing at the table, don't sing at the table, you're bringing the devil at the table. I don't know what she'd do with these computers. With these computers, she'd probably have a fit. You got the devil on there. Get that devil out.
No, that's real though. I remember, I remember being introduced to the internet, and I just had a show about this on my other channel, Millennials Adulting, and just how everybody got the internet at the same time. So there was zero filter with regards to most times when we become an adult, the people who were here before us had some experience with some of the stuff that we're going to be going through. But the internet, nobody had any experience before everybody got it at the same time. So then, either you were plugged in because you were tech savvy, that's your life. Or, you're a casual user, people who were asking Jeeves, you were so excited, you could just ask Jeeves, and ask a question. And it was like the first Google. And then, kids, like you said, and then pervs, people trying to meet kids. And the internet in the beginning was a very scary place because, nobody was really using it to the extent that we're using it now. And not that they would have been able to, because the technology has evolved, but just the fact that everybody got exposed to all of it. And then we've had to backtrack. People start their babies with tablets. That is so strange to me that you would give it to them right now. And
babies with the phones too, iPhones.
Man, I've seen babies swiping and they know how to get to where they're getting to. And that's how fast we download. So then we're technology too. And then, if we're downloading this inanimate thing, this technology that has no soul, it's I guess we're doing some weird taboo. We're mixing the person with the machine and making, I don't know, something else. Maybe it's the first iRobot is our consciousness with the machines. But I did see the robots with the agility skills. And you can push them over and they won't push over, or they can do the backflips, and that's kind of scary too. Is what do we need those things for? And if both sides are fighting with the same type of machine, who wins?
Yeah, well, see, their fear is that it's all about money and it's cash. See, remember, in a sense, if you can produce enough machines, everything is always about money. Because see, we need to eat, because we need to be fed, because we need a paycheck. Then therefore, in a sense, we're a cost that they don't want to pay for. Whereas in a sense, if you can get a robot to do the fighting, there is no cost. You see, see, people don't just like a lot of us. We're saying, They're trying to invade the black community with all these immigrants, and they're sending the immigrants in the black community to replace us. No, that's not why they're doing that. See, there's an economic reason for the immigrants. Is that in the geopolitical world, a nation is considered strong if the nation has people. You see, China has 2 million. You know, Russia have, you know, maybe a couple of 100 million. You see, okay. So if you want to be a geopolitical power, you have to have a large population. What's happening in America? How you doing, chemistry, black magic? White people are dying off. Since white people are dying off, the only way, in a sense, that America can remain, you know, may have high status and remain a superpower is by having people. So they're letting these people in not to replace us. They're letting these people in so they can say, oh, we got X amount of people in the country. Even though these people are not contributing anything to the country, it doesn't matter if they're not contributing. Because the thing is that you just want to have the number so that the oligarchs who really control the country can look good, you see. And so that's why you had to have the media. That's why you had to have this persuasion. Just like, you know, I belong with Canubia, Narrative. I listen to Karen Hunter and Greg Carr every Saturday. I love their presentations, but they're warped in a way because they feel their black power. And even though they feel their black power, and they'll tell you that Jim Crow genocide Biden is no good, they're saying that you should still vote for him, you know, instead of the couch. You see, instead of saying you should sit on the couch and don't vote, period, they're saying vote for him because he's the same lesser two evils. I heard the lesser two evils. How you doing, Bob Wellram? I've heard the rest of the lesser two evils all my life, and I don't want to do this. But again, when you got some people who they just know their black power, they just know that they're the blackest of the black, but they're boule, and not only are they boule, but they're leading us into a way to fail. And see this, but this is beautiful though. Why is it beautiful?
Is it beautiful because? Well, I have no idea. I have no idea why that would be beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful because it shows the diversity of our opinions. It shows, in a sense, who we are, what we are, and the diversity. You know, Chemistry Black Magic says, "I'm a soldier by natural, for my people, but we're not robots." That's true. But the whole point is that you need diversity. You need diversity. Because see, that's what makes things grow. And see, that's what makes this technology so beautiful today. Why is it beautiful? See, I believe, you see, a lot of people are afraid of AI, but I believe that we could dominate AI. And the way we could dominate AI is if we put more Afrocentric material on the internet. Because see, remember, they are being programmed by what's on the internet. That's why I was hearing NPR yesterday, and they were talking about the fact is that what companies are doing now. Let's say you write a book on relationship, you know, Eve, and it's Eve relationship book. But what they do is that they're able in a sense to get AI because your book is online, especially you make an ebook. They already got a copy of your ebook, and then they can tell AI make a summary of Eve's book. And so what they're doing now is that you can write the book, and then right next to under your book, there'll be a summary of what you said in the book that's been produced by AI. You see, therefore, to me, we can defeat AI. See, but people, because of the fact that people take everything that Europeans say as the God-given truth, instead of, in a sense, trying to really look at it and see how you can flip the script. See, that's what we've been doing historically, Eve. We've been flipping the script. You see, all the time we flip the script. They tell you that you're not being American culture. But what is American culture? The white Americans, their culture is what? Music from Europe, classical music that was made by us, made by Black Europeans. Yes, Black Europeans. So they like classical music. They want to do their dances that they brought over from there. You see, the food was no good, so they want to eat country food, which was made by us. So then, therefore, in a sense, this entire culture is our culture. The culture, the inventions, we made everything. You see, but the whole point is this: is that the beauty of the white man, and you guys are saying, Dr. Winter, stop saying the beauty of the white man. I have to give him credit. I have to give him credit. Is that you have to look at this person that he's used the media. He's used technology. And before technology used the media, is that he stole our heritage. He stole our heritage and made us believe we didn't have a heritage, and he stole our heritage. You see,
That's very real. I remember learning about Walter Plecker here in Virginia, and the paper genocide of the native blacks, and people keep saying that, well, what you said earlier, that if we have a native ancestry, it's because we were owned by some Cherokees in the past. Right. Not that that's, those are actually, we have actual ties to the land. And then they tried to remove us from the land. And then they couldn't actually remove us from the land, and they had to make paperwork that said, you're not on the land anymore. So you keep saying the beauty of the white man. I feel like their only invention or contribution is the invasion of it all, or the usurper.
The lie.
Sure, the lie, the patent office. If if we were able to get credit for the things that we've done, people wouldn't have these disconnects right now. Yeah. But, we've given Thomas Edison the credit for the light bulb, and Ben Franklin credit for stuff that's not theirs.
That's true, but see but that's because the fact is that, do you know, Eve, there's people on the internet, very popular people, got hundreds of thousands, and every week they listen to my program, and they'll get on Twitter, and they'll get on their shows, and they will say exactly what they heard me say, but they will never say Dr. Winter said that. They will never say Dr. Winter said that, and I'm not going to name them, but they're very popular. And the thing is, this is that, see, but the white man, as you said, Europeans, they play up Thomas Jefferson. They play up Benjamin Franklin, you see. But then these, because of the fact that we have so many black people who really don't want to support each other. Oh, they'll say John Henry Clark, he's dead. They'll say Ben Yakane, oh, he's dead. They'll say Amos Wilson, he's dead. They'll say they'll even mention Orinoco Rashidi, he's dead. But they won't mention the person where all these people got their shit from, Dr. Winters. But it's fine. It's fine because, see, the whole point is this: is that it's at least they're trying to fight Cades, but the point is this: is that because of the fact that they can't defend it. You hear these people every week. They're talking about the Aboriginal black people. When you don't know about Aboriginal black people unless you've read my articles. Right now, my articles are being used in the American courts. My articles on genetics to fight to try to get black people, indigenous Aboriginal black people, trying to get them their rights, trying to get them their justice, trying to get us our land. You see, and yet these people in a sense who are very popular, they'll refuse to mention my name. They'll mention Dr. Short maybe, but they refuse to mention my name when I'm the one who I did the research. They, instead of saying, if you want to know more, they'll say some ish from way back, because see, the thing is this: is that we have this need. We have this need, as Nellie Fuller said, we have this need to always knock each other down. We have this need that we got to be the top Negro, the top N word at the top. But at the same time, that's why Europeans, they're able to develop fields, they're able to do and see. That's why I take the time, and I'm gonna do. I'm starting my research. I'm going to do another research class because even though you do have these brothers these brother fuckers who don't want to play up other brothers, and you got sister fuckers too that don't want to play up other sisters. But the thing is this: is that the beauty of it is this: is that time will tell. You see, time will tell. Time will tell. I remember I've been doing research on Dravidian studies and Merodic studies for over over 30 years. So then one day my son said, Pops, you should join the Facebook. And then when I got on Facebook, I started getting all these people from India. Oh, we love your research. Dr. Winters, you really made this. And brothers, and we love that you deciphered the Meroitic script. And sometimes you do need a attaboy, you see. Just like you're a beautiful woman. You try to do things. You're always supporting all these brothers who don't want to respect sisters. At least they don't tell you to go cook dinner like in the 70s and 80s. Go and cook dinner or go in the kitchen. So at least they let you talk. Back then they always wanted the sister to be in the kitchen cooking. But the point is that until we as Black people can take this technology, and as you said, we can take it over. But the only way we can take it over is you have to be sending people to the right people. That Bag brother, when he talked about, us talking in Columbus, Ohio this past Sunday, then you see, you can ask me questions and I can answer it. And these other people, because of the fact that they haven't done the research, and because they refuse to say Dr. Winters, then therefore you're leaving people that can't find the answers. And that's what we need. We need the answers. It's just like, and so if you're going to fight the devil, which is technology, the only way you can fight the devil is that you have to flood it with knowledge. You had to flood it with knowledge. You had to put the knowledge out there. And then they'll say, so Black people have done something, and you brought up, Narmer and Nimrod and all that, you see. And that it's just because, you've been taught that was only in Egypt. But no, remember, Nimrod supposed to have conquered all the way to Mesopotamia.
Right. That's what it said. And then what you're saying about flooding the AI with the knowledge of us, of what I would say is the truth. And if it's out there already, it will pull from it, but it's only going to pull from it if you tell it to. And I think if enough people are doing that, and I don't mean having arguments with ChatGPT, I mean just putting the information out there, sourcing it, citing it, then, when people are using ChatGPT, it won't be, but this is not widely accepted. It'll be like, this came from this place, and, it'll have accreditation, because that's what people want. They want the white people accreditation. They want the white people.
They need it.
That's the only way it's going to make it real for them. So to a very real point of using ChatGPT over people, people are very comfortable using the AI to get to a resolution versus asking a person a question. When, I'm sorry, if I call a business, I don't want to talk to the automated representative. I'm pressing 0 as many times as I can so I can talk to a person. But then time on the computer, people, they want to just quickly ChatGPT my question when you're out here. I made a post the other day about you and Mr. Fuller in the same post, and how people are so afraid of reading. And fine, you don't want to read, but there's so many people out here who have done the reading. You just need to go to them and maybe suss that out. But
see, that's another myth. See, is that a lot of times in my lectures, I try to bring the fact that we have always been a literate society. We haven't, but the European has taught us that we're an oral society, that everything we do is oral. That's a lie. For over 10,000 years, we've been leaving inscriptions. They found inscriptions in the mounds here. We're always here, and it's always this knowledge. I mean, look how much. I'm gonna just say this. You love to write. You love to, in a sense, use words. I didn't even in a sense, I didn't even ask you, but I said you do because I know you do, because the point is that any thinking Black person loves to put stuff on paper. Even these so-called rappers, they can't even spell, but they can write a rap. I'm serious.
No, you're right. You see their freestyles and they have their books.
Yeah, they rhyme in dictionary, maybe. See.
No, that's real. Man, that's a hell of a disconnect. You're right. they taught us that we were an oral people.
Right.
The griot, the storyteller, that
Yeah.
we were mystical Black people who tell stories around the
Yeah.
campfires, and then in real time we know papyrus is an invention of ours. So actually writing thing on paper is comes from us, and then people
The
don't
inscriptions in stone and all that type of stuff.
Right. It's
look at this. Is that we got these brothers? We got brothers. I think it's a brother at Howard. Teaching Egyptian. We got all these brothers teaching Egyptian. You can even if you young people, our family. If you join Narrative and Canubia, the brother who teaches Egyptian at Howard University, he has an Egyptian language program where you can learn Egyptian by joining Canubia or Narrative if you're interested. But the point is, this is that. How you doing, Marsha, Byram? But the thing is, this is that. Although we got all these people who can speak Egyptian, they don't do any Egyptian research. You see, and so for example, we've been teaching for years that the Hyksos were some Jews, and that the Hyksos there were some Jews, but that was the name of Namr. When Namr, that's what he called himself. He said he was a Hyksos, and he's got inscriptions that come all the way from the Levant, come all the way from the Middle East. And see, but if you don't do the research, if you're waiting for Europeans to tell you what to do, you'll never know. You'll never know our greatness. And see, that's why we have this pandemic, is that instead of us taking this double technology and putting out there a lot of information, then therefore, in a sense, they can do it. I mean, this Russell Richardson is saying what you're saying, Eve. Could you read that, please?
Right, Russell, man, people aren't afraid of reading. They're afraid of discovering the truth. If they find out the truth, they have to act on it.
Right. That's dangerous, isn't it?
It is. And it's a responsibility factor that I know that we don't like the accountability aspect. But if we're first frequency, like you teach, and then these other people are second and third frequency, then it's kind of on us to kind of claim where we're supposed to be in the hierarchy of things. Because if we don't, then the grandkids are running amok and telling the grandparents how to run the home. And I don't think anybody wants that, as much as, you might have elderly parents or family and you're a young adult who's taking care of them. It's taking care of what they've already put down, the foundation that they've already laid, not the other way around, trying to uproot the foundation and make my own thing and then kill all the old people if they don't agree with us or not,
Yeah. It's just like Bob Wilram, he said, Christians end their prayers with Amen or Amen. And they don't even know you're calling on the hidden God. That was the name of the Egyptians' most powerful God. Ammon, and so you're calling on a God, and since you're calling on this God, in a sense, it's very sad, and the thing is, this is that it's very sad that we don't even understand how we're in a sense calling on this. It's like the Buddhists. Whenever the Buddhists meditate, they say what is that? Amen, amen. But see, because of the fact that we've been conditioned not to deal with languages. For example, I was lucky. When I went to university, we had what was called area studies. And so when back in the 70s, when I was learning, when I was studying African history, all the books on African history was written in French and German, And see, luckily I had taken French. I had taken French in high school, so when I was studying African history, I could read a lot of the French books. That's how I knew about Diop way back in the 70s. Excuse me. And then at Illinois, I got a master's. And so the only way you can get a master's, you had to learn a reading knowledge of a language. So I had to learn a reading knowledge of German, and then I had to learn I had a minor in Swahili. But what I found is this, Eve, is that I took that See, for me to do the research that I do, I had to learn a whole lot of languages. You know, Tamil, Telugu, Mayan. You know, I had to learn Chinese. I had to learn all these different Japanese. I learned all these different languages so I could get to the sources. And see, that's the thing that is holding us back. Is as that we got all these pretenders on we got all these pretenders who are pretending that they know black history and they're trying to teach black history and then they want to act like, oh, just come to me and I can tell you the history instead of sending people where they can get their history, get the answers to the history. And this is what's causing us a problem today. You know, especially when we talk about Aboriginal black people, because see, nobody's done research on Aboriginal black people except me, you know, because see the thing, and it's sad. And I'll admit, I ran away from it for years, you know, because the fact is this is that, you know, my mama, yeah, I knew I had Choctaw, but who the hell wanted to be a Choctaw? Indians always lose. But hey, those African civilizations, they going on, baby. You know, we had Ghana, we had ancient Malay. And so then therefore, in a sense, I saw something in that. And so that's why I avoided a lot of it until the past 10 years I've been doing research in that. You know, but let's take a little let's look at a couple of commercials. Take a little break.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB or find me on X at Justice4 Us. That's JUSTICE 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Family, you got to get that white hoodie. You got to get the hoodie. It comes in more than one color. Buy the hoodie. Support Eve. Today is today. We need to homeschool our children due to white supremacy. In many states, education departments are passing laws to deny our children from learning the history of foundational Black Americans. Today, you can learn how to organize and teach your children in a homeschool in my book, A Guide to Homeschool Foundational Black Americans. You can use my book, History of Blacks in America from Prehistory to 1877, to teach our children their history here in the United States. You can use my book to teach world history. And this book I've written is called The World History of the Black World. This will teach your children about every Black civilization in the world. Get this book. The time is now. Get these books to teach your children about their greatness, to prevent them from losing confidence in their own ability to learn and be successful future adults in employment and education.
So dreamy.
Hey, I've just written a new book, History and Culture of the Black Aboriginals of America. Yes, I've written a new book. This book is called History and Culture of Afro-Americans. It's about the Aboriginal Americans. It's about the first people who inhabited America. Many people don't know about our great culture, this super culture that we created, but I discussed this book. In 489 pages, you'll find out so much information, great information, about, in a sense, what the Aboriginal foundational Black Americans did. You're going to see, in a sense, that Black people contributed much here. When the first Europeans got here, that's what they found. Yes, they found Black Aboriginals inhabiting the Americas. It was the Black Aboriginals that built this country. This is why you had to get my book. Get my book, History and Culture of the Aboriginal Blacks of the Americas. In this book, you will find out the truth. You will know what we created. You will know who we are. Get this book. Buy it now.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4Just_Us. That's JUSTICE, 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description.
Hey, it's time for the Afrocentric Researcher course led by Dr. Clyde Winters. Join this course. The 15-week Afrocentric Researcher course will begin on April 16, 2024. It will last between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can go to clyde98.gumroad.com/L/ to join the class. The Afrocentric Researcher course is vital. In this course, you will learn how to do research. It will help you to write and conduct research. You see, you're going to learn how to do research. You're going to learn how to interpret research literature. And you're going to learn how to write books and articles. Yes, books and articles. And you're going to learn how to use research data to improve your small business. Already, in a sense, many former students have begun to write articles and books that they published. You too can write these articles and books after you take my class. You can make a single payment of $599. You can go to clyde98.gumroad.com/L/ZBWRJR, or you can make monthly payments. Go to clyde98.gumroad. Join me for my 15-week Afrocentric Researcher course. It's going to be the class that's going to help you to really be a success. It's going to start April 16, 2024, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Join us. Join us in this class. Learn how to do research. It's up to you. Yeah, again, I hope you guys will take advantage of some of those, interesting things.
That's for sure. Man, yeah, Cooley High is trolling in the chat. I don't know if they just don't know where they are, or if they're really a person who is asking a question for clarity. I find that sometimes people ask questions to cause confusion and not because they want to be clear about anything. So
yeah. It's very interesting, but some people they come and they have to kind of spread negativity, and one of the reasons that they spread negativity is that it allows them to be able to get to just say things that they're thinking about that they really don't need to really think about, and because the fact is that they don't know, then therefore I can't get that down. Da, da, da.
yeah, that's the devil in the technology is.
Yes, the devil got me.
Issues with the technology. My camera stopped working before the commercial break, and now you're having StreamYard issues.
Yeah.
The devil in the technology is people who show up and they want to make us off balance. They want to disrupt the frequencies.
Yeah. Like Bob Wilhelm said, there are Africans who speak languages that are remarkably similar to Tamil. That's right, especially in Chad. But that was my first research on my first articles back in the day when I used to write. I used to do a lot of research in comparative linguistics. And what I found is that the Tamil, yes, the ancestors of Kamala Harris, they lived in the Nile Valley. People don't know that. They lived in the Nile Valley. And because they lived in the Nile Valley, that's why you find, in a sense, the Tamil and African language, especially Egyptian and some languages in Chad. You know, they still, in fact, in Chad, they still speak Tamil. Very interesting. But that's another story. We're not going there today. You know, we're talking about this devil, and we had to really fight this devil. You know, we had to fight this devil, and we have to understand the sense that this material, you know, the internet can be used, and it can be, in a sense, an effective tool, and it can be an effective tool to be able to use it to our advantage. But what we have to do is that we need people to put more positive information on the internet about Black people, and then because see AI, they read everything. AI read everything that you post on the internet. They read your books. If you make an ebook, they read your ebook. You see, so then therefore, our problem is that because of the fact there's not enough literature on the internet that talks about, you know, foundational Black Americans as being a very prideful people, a very inventive people, then we don't, in a sense, we don't really get to understand these. For example, you know, people always like to bring up Carver, Carver, you know, and they always say, oh yeah, you guys invented peanuts and the peanut man, but they forget in the sense is that our whole idea about the factory where they built the cars, they didn't call, in a sense, the where Ford didn't call his factory a factory. He called it a plant, a plant, and that was because of the fact that Carver had influenced him to such a great detail. But see, we don't, because the fact is that we don't really teach our children our history. We don't really have control over it. That's one of the reasons why I wrote my book on how to create a homeschool. You see, you don't want to homeschool your kids because it's scary. It's very scary. You do a lot of teaching. You teach. You know how young people are, but as a parent, you don't want to homeschool your kids because you're afraid. You're afraid.
That goes back to what Russell said earlier about, you know, not necessarily that we're afraid of reading, but afraid of the discovery. And I think that's across the board. People who've been programmed to a specific tune, you know, they don't necessarily want that disrupted, because I find a lot of times Black people have accepted things that don't make sense just to get to tomorrow, just to make it to the next day.
Right.
We've just accepted that, you know, our lot in life is that, you know, we have to be very agreeable, we can't be angry, we can't be confrontational, because if you do, then you'll get, you know, this negative Black angry stereotype put on you. It's dangerous. The cops can get you. You know, we have to walk on eggshells through life. But at the end of the day, it's not anything that we've done to cause people to treat us like this, as much as, you know, the flood of the negative information and then nobody wanting to replace it with the truth or positive information. So many rapid videos of fights, you know, thousands of fight videos, but you can't see thousands of STEM club activities if you wanted to. You know, the fact that I can't even say it so comfortably, you know, the negative stuff is out there. The positive stuff, I'm like, it would be something.
But see, we got it. But somebody has to put it on. Somebody has to do that video. You know, PA said, I wish I had that book when I taught my children at the school. Well, the book is available. You can get it. You can download it. But the thing is this, that was the beauty. That was the only thing I liked about the pandemic, is that the pandemic allowed parents to see what their kids was learning and not being taught in school. You know, because the fact that a lot of people had to go through Zoom. The school I taught at, we was using Google Classroom, but you had to go through Zoom or Google Classroom for the kids to be instructed. You see, granted, I'll admit, it worked out better for girls, because girls were more attentive. They would participate. You know, when the boys, a lot of times they had to call parents. Hey, Manuel is not on the screen today. I told him to call. I told him to be on the TV. And so then, you know, then you know, they'd had to call and tell Manuel or Johnny or Fred to get online, because see, you know, I don't know how you guys did it, but We did it where the kid had to show their face. They had to show their face, and so we had to see them,
Yeah.
and some people saw too much with some of those parents, But
That's
again,
for sure. That's for sure. We had it that they had to be on camera as well, and I would see students playing their game or watching TV, just not paying attention. And I feel like it's a control thing. If I can't in the classroom, you can't be a teacher who puts someone in their seat. No, you have to be able to tell them to sit down because it's time for class, or tell them to get out their papers. You have to be able to instruct them.
yeah,
Over Zoom, just your physical presence that sometimes would be enough, that was just gone. And now they can do whatever they want. So I found a lot of teachers stressing out about the fact that Manuel wasn't paying attention. And
yeah.
no.
And they would have that little, the little hand control. Yeah. What'd you say, Dr. Winters? Oh yeah, Johnny. What's going on? What? Turn that camera back on.
But that the devil in the technology, just the fact that first graders had to sit on the computer for 8 hours. Sometimes it's too much. And nobody's there to turn it off or tell them to take a break. Their little baby eyes can't take all of this blue light all of the time, but we're expecting them to because we can, or we do. And then things that we've accepted about this tool that could be harming us, we're just passing it on to the babies because, again, that filter is not there. It won't be for 50 years where people say, did you look at Facebook Reels at 2:00 in the morning, until 3:00 in the morning for these 2 years, you might be eligible for a claim, and it'll be that blue light specifically did something to people. And, it's something we won't find out till later. And it's the time thing that we just talked about. But with time, the technology starts to evolve. So then the very basic Ask Jeeves or general meeting spots to have conversations, AOL Messenger, and, just these very simple outputs from this very complex tool, they start to take on different functions. These conversations that, you have with your friends, you gave them your screen name, y'all talk after school, that turns into something else. Like we talked about earlier, weird people who want to meet up with children. And it's like, okay, well, do I take the whole thing away because I don't want my child to be around these people? But they're around these people in life. People don't necessarily walk around with a "I'm a perv" sign on their shirt. You have
to.
They might should. And some people are supposed to identify themselves. But, for the most part, we don't know what people's kinks, their negative things are, and we're existing with them in our day-to-day at the grocery store, at the mall, and wherever it is that you're going in your social life. But then online, it's a very private place. It's a public and private place where we are sharing a lot, and there are no filters. There's no crossing guards. There's no, they've got parent controls now, right? Where you can put safe search on, but you couldn't do that in the beginning because it was just open access.
How you doing, Natty and Marsha Byram? Natty is an interesting name because I used to have an auntie named Natty. I wonder is that Indian? I wonder is it Aboriginal? But anyway, it's kind of interesting. But like you said, is that it's how do you get your children? One of the biggest things that I hated about I hated so much about what happened during the pandemic was that a lot of these kids do not, a lot of these kids are staying up all night just about, and a lot of times parents, unless you take the phone, and you don't really want to take the phone away from your child because a lot of times you might have the alarm on so they'll wake up. But some of these kids are staying online to maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you're trying to get them up to go to school the next day. It's kind of very hard, and it's very hard,
the I hate that what you just said. We're using the technology for the different functions on the technology. I have a student right now who uses her phone for her calculator, and then I have another student who's using his phone to research stuff in class. And these two students, I don't think they should have a phone at all. I don't think that they're mature enough for this baby computer with access to everything, even though they're only supposed to be using it for research or using it for calculations. But then, like you said, 1 o'clock in the morning, if they're a child who uses their phone for the alarm, maybe they're up and they're scrolling. Yeah. And I walked into this the other day. Our older minis have a phone now, and that's a whole. It makes me uncomfortable, but I feel like if we teach them how to use it, then maybe they'll make good decisions about it. But as it stands, she was asleep, phone, and it was like just reels, just playing. She's knocked out, and I'm like, you don't know what you're seeping in your brain right now.
Right, and she is being educated though. But but the technology, the devil in the technology, is so important because I remember when my daughter was in college and stuff. I wanted her to have a phone just in case an emergency. And my granddaughter and my grandson, they're in college. I want them to have a phone so they can contact me if they need my help or whatever. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult not to want to see that devil in their hands, even though you know that it can be corrupting. You still feel safer that if they have a car accident or they need you to pick them up from school or just that whole thing. I'm not that type of person. I wouldn't put, some parents, I know they put apps in the phones where they can follow the kid and know where the kid is at all time. I wouldn't do nothing like that. But the point is I think that you do feel much more safer, and you feel that your child can communicate with you when they do have that devil, when they do have that technology to be able to communicate with you if there's an emergency. Absolutely. And I think that's something that's very important to understand.
It is. And what you said about the parental control of the access of information from the parent to the child, I think that our phones have become devices where we keep personal information. I have notes on my phone, not necessarily private notes, but just my thoughts about things that I want to get back to. I might take a note about this. I have a sketchbook in my phone. Our social media platforms are on our phones. And not that I don't think that children so much intricacies on their devices, but I do know that they're watching how we're using it. So then, the little minis upstairs have a YouTube broadcast and they report the news, and then, they're doing cooking videos, imaginary cooking videos, but I'm seeing how they're, absorbing everything that they're being exposed to and then showing us, yes, this is what you're teaching us. And this is what we've learned, but not wanting to overimpose. I don't want them to feel like I'm spying on them. I want to be able to have a trusting relationship. If you say you're going to be here, then I expect you to be here. If you're supposed to call me, then call me. But that's how I grew up. I don't know if people had strict parents where, you had to be in the house by this time, or you had to call when you got there, call when you're leaving, call. I mean, when we first had cell phones that we could use after 9 because it was free, my parents were very much like, if you don't call at these different intervals, not only was I losing my phone, but I was losing my privilege to be outside. So I had to conform to, their rules about the technology. Yeah. But now,
it's interesting. My PA said this phone is nothing but spyware. You're probably correct, but at the same time, it's spyware. We still in a sense want to have it, and like you said though, is that you're really good, PA, because you said I didn't get my children phones in high school. That's wonderful. I'm glad you could get away with that. Most of us give in, and we get our kids a phone. Boost. I mean, hey, my I didn't get them maybe an iPhone. I didn't get them through AT&T, but I would get a Boost, or I would get, get something really cheap, get them a cheap plan, so they could at least communicate, because see, you want your children. You see, we are products of our society, and even though you can know that something is devilish, just like we take our kids to McDonald's when they're little, and we know damn well that we shouldn't be taking them to McDonald's because the food is no good. It's going to harm them. But we're going to take them to McDonald's because the other kids are going to McDonald's.
Mhm.
And then I know out there you say, Dr. Winter, stop, don't do it up. You have to sometimes allow your kids to be members of the herd, because that's what allows them. That's what allows them to have this whole identity. Go ahead. I'm good off, but
No, that's a good point. The exposure to versus the seclusion from. People understand the example when they hear the private school kids run amok when they go to college because nobody's there to keep them
so?
them things. Well, I mean, I've seen some.
Well, my granddaughter, she's in her 20s. She's in college now. I think she's about to graduate. And when she was at her Catholic school, the biggest thing they had when she was in 7th grade was the girls was bragging about how they could perform oral sex on the other on the boys in the neighborhood. And my daughter heard her talking to her friends. That's how I know. That's right, baby. I know what you guys were talking about. So my granddaughter, hopefully she's not hearing this. But again, in the sense is that, they talk about stuff like that. Natty said, had to be in by 11 p.m. No excuses. Fun stuff happened at 11:01. Laughing out loud. You got that right.
That's right. Parents knew how to nip all the fun stuff in the bud.
Like they told us when the street lights come on.
No, but look, what you just said, when the street lights came on, you guys were not, you didn't have to call your parents and check in at all these different intervals. They just expected you.
We didn't have any phones. It wasn't any phones.
So then the trust had to be there. You had to trust that your child was going to do what you've taught them to do, or something else. You came home and had to deal with whatever it was. But
or you was gonna get a whooping. You knew that. See that it. Back then, spoiler ride. I was one day. I was giving a lecture. I think I was 14, and I was giving a lecture on child psychology. How I use child psychology to control my parents. And so then all the kids I was talking to, they started looking kind of funny. And so then I was just bragging about how I control my parents. And they was looking kind of menacing. Next thing I know, bam! Boy, get your butt at home. You're supposed to be at home. Man, I felt so embarrassed. See, back in the day, even though I grew up in Chicago, everybody they said, "You Nobi boy." My father's name was Zenobi. You Nobi's boy. You better not do this, do that, because see, back in the day, like we'd go up to the second floor, back porches, and hang off the side and just fall down. It's stupid. Jump off garage roofs. Stupid. I don't even know why I did stupid stuff like that, because I could have broke my leg, broke my brain, broke anything. But kids are kids. But because of the fact that parents knew each other, then they would tell on you.
That's right. That's right. I find that today, with all of the technology, people are so focused on their screen and not on the people around them. People don't necessarily know their neighbors, or they don't care to know their neighbors, or they just want to be left alone.
Yeah. But I go travel abroad, and I'm not sure I agree. We spend significant time teaching children to avoid certain types of exposure and socialization, i.e. drugs, gangs, etc. We certainly block certain people, places, and things. We do, but the funny thing is this: go travel abroad is that your kids, they're going to go still find trouble. When I was growing up, I said, "Damn, I wish somebody would have told me what to do." You like some of the things on the internet because it can tell you things not to do, but your kids are going to always want to try stuff out. Like one of my sons, when he got grown, he went to the West Side and he joined a gang. But I mean, hey, I didn't know till later. He told me, "Yeah, Pops, I was in the gang." I said, "What? But the thing is, it was on the West Side. When he got back to the South Side, he stopped. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know. Go travel abroad, family. I don't know. You can teach your kids everything you want to teach them. You can teach them this or that, but they're going to do what they want to do. They're going to do what they want to do, you know. And this is something very important. Like, I mean, it was many a day one of my sons would drive up in his car and let the window down, all that marijuana smell come out. But that was the whole point, is that you learn to allow your children to have to do the things they have to do. And you do want to protect them, but it's very difficult to protect your children. Even you've got so many plans, so many things for your kids to do, but hopefully you tell them, but they're going to do what they want to do, and they're going to learn so much from this devil technology.
That's real. That's real. Autonomy is the goal, I think, of a functional parent. You know, I don't think that we're supposed to be trying to control the little minis, because they're going to be adults one day. They're going to have to function with us in society as peers. And then from there, I hope that what they want to do is things that make sense. But I find that seclusion and the withholding of, that'll make them want to do the opposite.
Eve,
I don't think you should keep it from them as much as
come on now, Eve.
Talk to them about it.
Tell the truth. The best time is with your babies. It's when they're 6 months to 2 years old, and you can flumple up them. You can just fall on the jaws, and they can't say no. But the minute they get, you can just it's just so fun when your baby is not fighting you, and then they like it. But then the older they get, Mama, don't do that. That's making me look like I'm a kid. Don't pinch me on the cheek. Stop kissing me. The other people think I'm weak. Don't do that. So then, in a way, we don't want to totally control our children, but at the same time, we like it when they're little, and we can, in a sense, influence. We feel that we can have a little bit more control over them.
No, that's real. When they can say no, that's a parent moment, because what do you do? Do you get all angry? Do you try to coax them into it? That it's a defining moment as a parent, is when your child tells you no for the first time, because at that point they're testing things. And I've never wanted to make them afraid of testing things. I want them to experiment and to, see what the best possible way to do things are. But, some questions have answers they don't want. And some actions have a consequence that they didn't expect. But, if you're consistent, then maybe they can recognize patterns in the behavior. And then, they know not to do it. You don't have to burn your hand on the stove to know that the stove is hot. But there are some kids out there that still want to touch the stove.
And even us. And even sometimes we want to do stupid stuff. No, don't mess with that man. Don't mess with that woman. She's no good, but we'll still do it. Look at that line. Look at that brother's line. Look how his hair is a little too slick. Look at that sister, how she got to have her legs a little wide open when she sits down. Do you sure you want to mess with them? We have these signals, But it's, should be mandatory as parents. That's right, that you had to have some control over them. But this is deep. This is very deep, and I think this is true. PA says parents should get their children's astrological natal chart created if they want to really know their children. That's true, because I know if you get some good astrological books, they can tell you a lot about your child. They can tell you a lot about yourself. I used to tell my daughter, now before you deal with them guys, you better get his birthday and look it up, and because see, the thing is that today they've got that down to a science. They got that down to a science, and that's the one good thing. Like, I know sometimes when I have a dream and I can't figure it out, a lot of times I can go to the internet, and I can maybe get some information. So everything on the internet isn't devilish. But it's like you said earlier, is how people can take this technology and they can use it, in a sense to lead us astray. They can use it in a sense to get us involved in a lot of negativity and stuff like that.
Absolutely. It's easy to slip down the slopes of the negativity that you find on the internet. The rabbit holes are very, very slippery because it's a constant. You know, when you're scrolling these different videos and feeds and reels, you can't really turn it off unless you close the app or if you go to something else. And then people don't really want to close the app. People have a hard time going to bed at night because they want to keep searching.
That's right. And you don't even know. Sometimes you stay up a little too late. If I stay up to 12 doing something, I'm not gonna sleep the whole night good, and I'm gonna be up because I wake up at 3:30 anyway. So it's bad. Bob Wilram, you are so right. You know, I stopped roughhousing with my son after he threw me across the room. That didn't happen to me. But one day I was roughhousing with my son, and my son was about to get me down, and my wife was cooking at the time, and she looked at me, and I had to flip him and do some other little stuff. Just let him know, hey, your old man still got it. Now that was when I was young. You see, now in a sense it would be so different. But again, you got to always, in a sense, let them know. But I always felt even with my father, if he would have got old and he would have tried to hit me, I would let him, in a sense, hit me maybe, But then again, I might move out of the way and he'll fall on the ground and help me up, Clyde. But it's very difficult.
That's funny. People want to experience things, and they want to teach lessons, and then they want to not take responsibility for the negative aspect of it. I like the internet as a neutral, but I find that people are very susceptible to the devil inside of it. It's easy, it's flashy. The devil is the enticing, flashy, you want to, but you shouldn't. You're into it, but maybe you need to know more. And I find that people don't really care to do the research. They just want the instant gratification of whatever it is that they're looking for. I mean, people have warm bodies in beds next to them, but they will go to the internet to get into something strange. I find that strange.
Well, the thing is, that's it's complicated. Like Go Travel Abroad said, are we saying that withholding internet access can be situated between withholding McDonald's and withholding online pornography in terms of fostering autonomy through exposure? I don't know. That's a very complicated thing because you are right. You want them to become autonomous. You want them to be able, in a sense, to do the right thing. But then also you feel sometimes if you could hide things, that it would be a little bit better, And it's just like when I was growing up, your parents, they never argued in front of you, and so you didn't know that there were arguments going on. But then it was some people said their parents were having knockdown, drag out fights, and so and it's just like even when I was going through, when me and my wife would be having problems, maybe I might be out of work or I might not be making enough money. We would try to make sure that the kids didn't hear that because we would try to work that out. And we felt that was something that we should work out. So it's complicated. It's complicated in terms of you want them to be exposed to things, but you also want them to have autonomy, you see. And the thing is, this is that, like I know Yoshimite, he brought up the fact that the pornography, because of the fact nowadays pornography doesn't have any themes, then a lot of these kids who are seeing it, they want to perform the same acts they see on TV, or on the thing. You know what I noticed when I used to do home visits? Sometimes when the kids when you had eighth graders, a lot of times you would go and visit their home sometimes just to let the parent know that you were the teacher. And sometimes when you would sit in the living room, you would see that some of the parents in the early 2000s, they would have the pornography right with the other videos. Come on now. Mm-hmm. Say, what the hell is this? And so a lot of kids, they're growing up with this pornography around. And so they don't understand, in a sense, is that a lot of that, these people get paid for that. Those people would not do that with their own lover. They do that because they get paid to do it. See, but then a lot of times people don't associate with it, so it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I do believe that by me taking my kids to McDonald's and by me even going to McDonald's myself, I am in a sense doing something that's not good for me, you see. And so then therefore, but then sometimes people say, well, hey, you see some people, I'm 97 years old. I drink gin and vodka every day. Then somebody else, I'm 97 years old. I never touch a drink. I've always avoided drinks and I'm 97. So what's right? What's wrong? My wife, my wife worked every day. She worked out with weights. She did exercise, still kept her figure, and she was in her 60s and all that type of stuff. And then she died. Me, I don't eat right. I don't eat right. I walk sometimes. I don't do exercise. Now, I said, now, damn, why did they take her? Why did they take my baby down? And she was all exercising and stuff. I'm supposed to die first, but she died. She died before me. And so what is it, What is it? I'll tell you what it is that everybody has their own life. They have their own way that they're going to go. And that's beautiful. But I think that the thing is that it is very complicated. It's very complicated. Very complicated. Most men want to be couch potatoes. Most women want to be, in a sense, they want to still be that hot banana, and they're in their 80s. But what the hell can you do? But that doesn't mean they want every man out there. That doesn't mean they want every man's attention. But the whole point is this: they still want to look good. And see, that's the thing about the internet, is that it has its good points and its devilish points.
It does. I find that what you were just talking about, the withholding or exposure, that is, I think, the parent's plight. You don't want to make them afraid, or at least I don't want to make my minis afraid of anything. I want them to be fearless. But I understand that you can't just operate fearless. You have to have caution. So fear does promote, the safety gene to kick in, right? So now you're not just jumping out of planes with no parachute, or jumping off roofs with not knowing that there's a safe landing for you. But I was watching, there's an episode of the Black Mirror. Did you ever watch that show on Netflix?
No.
Black Mirror?
No, go ahead.
It's like a sci-fi alternate reality type show, but it was talking about the child sensors on the computer and on the media, on TV, and how some parents would completely keep that away. So whether it's blood and guts or sex or inappropriate language or whatever, some kids never got access to that. And then some kids did have access to it. So now these kids are having conversations with the kids who have no idea what's going on. And it's too much, because children don't have the knowledge or experience or the understanding. Like you said about the porn, they don't know that this chick's getting paid to be with all of what she's getting done with, but in real time, they're thinking that girls are out here doing stuff like that just because they're into the guy, and that disconnect, it's an alternate reality. Their perception of what's real is flawed in a big way. And it's because there was no filter. There was nobody there to help them through it, because it was like exposure.
My wife would say, here we go. She said, every year you got to have a fear. It's a salmonella outbreak somewhere. Somebody got somebody got that disease. I don't want to say it because I know me and Q was talking, and I talked too much, and they took the video down. So I don't want them to take down this video. But then, the pandemic in a sense, a lot of people fell for it. But the point is, this is that, Jesse Jackson, he fell for it. His wife, she didn't take the jab, and she was over it in no time. Jesse Jackson had to go to a rehabilitation center, and he just about in a wheelchair. One of our great historian photographers, he wanted to fly overseas, and he took the jab, and he's no longer here. He was a great photographer, historian. You probably know what I'm talking about, but he took the jab, and I mean, hey, that's a consequence. But see, the whole, but that's the whole point. But the thing is, is that what could you do? You see, if you really involved with, if you really be listening to this devil, the computer, looking at TV, A lot of times, if you really believe everything you see, then it can embrace you. You know, they got another one. They got another pandemic coming up in 2025. So be ready. And so then, but oh yes, it was a site on online, and I saw it in the spring. I saw it in that when the pandemic came out, and it said everything was going to happen, and that's just what happened, you know. But and so it said that the next one coming out in 2025, because you know, but it didn't work out because it didn't get the people they wanted, you know, like over in Malagasy and Malagasy, they were taking hot toddies, you know, and that's how they was fighting the pandemic. In other words, you know, they got a little honey, got some rock sugar, pour in a little Jack Daniels, and hey, they fought it well.
Bottoms up.
Yeah.
No, that's real. The devil in the technology, the fact that you can put out good information, and because of the monopolization or the monopoly of the control of information, what you have will get suppressed. So,
Right.
you know, you can have the absolute winning play, but if they don't want you to win, or if it's not their move and it's not their play, well, now you don't even get a chance on the field.
Right.
You know, they've completely taken your ticket, your ball. You don't have the right uniform or shoes. You know, you can't play with us. And then in real time, you know, people were trying to help people not make bad decisions about their health with, you know, with regards to what we were talking about. But because of the control of information on the technology, people made us look like we were crazy. You know,
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about because X, Y, and Z government
Yeah.
website, and they said this, and this. And it's like, okay, well, yes, they did say that, but let's look at history. Why would they be on the up and up about some of this stuff when their pattern shows that they like to hide things? They like fine print. They like to sneak it in under the radar and then talk about a discovery later, like it wasn't something that they
But
forced.
see, but see, you're having a what I would call some skepticism. Many people don't. Many people, they accept everything for face value that they hear on the news, that they see on the internet. They believe everything. They don't have a filter, because the fact, in a sense, is that it is so many of us are not communicating with other people. Sad. And so since we're not communicating, a lot of people accept whatever they hear.
We're not communicating, and then we're oversharing. You know, these platforms, our social media accounts and avatars. Some people say so much. They'll tell you that they went to lunch today at this place, that they're at the gym at this time, that they're on vacation right now, and it's almost like an invitation to people who want to do nefarious things to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you I'm on vacation right now versus I took a vacation a couple weeks ago and I want to share my pictures with you. It sounds like you want someone to come check up on your house and see how it's doing while you're not in town, like you're inviting these people in your home and you don't even know it. And it's just you sharing information. So
but they stopped a lot of that. A lot of people used to say when they were going on vacation, but I think many people stopped the PA. I truly wonder why the CIA spies upon people as if they're going to do something to him or her. I'm not afraid of CIA, Central Illuminati Agency. Yeah, but the point is this, is that they spy on you because that's how in a sense they can be forewarned. That's why if something takes place in America, it had to have been planned. No way it could have been a 9/11 and the CIA not know about it, because let me tell you, every telephone, remember, the TV never goes off. It's not only a receiver, it's still a broadcaster. That's why they stop. That's why they don't like people to listen to AM radio. They like you to listen to FM radio. See, everybody's conversation is being recorded, and they listen for key words. Like I'm going to shoot the president. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. That's how they can apprehend you. That's why if you want to do something dirty, If you wanted to rob a bank, if you wanted to do assassination, you had to talk. You had to talk in the middle of the park. You had to talk away from a radio, away from a TV, because if you sit in your car, FM never goes off. So then that's how, in a sense, they can regulate you. Because see, you got to remember, baby Trump, ever since baby Trump, they want to keep you. They want to keep you in fear. I think somebody in the chat said they try not to be afraid. You have to not be afraid, but they want to keep you in fear. That's why it's always a salmonella epidemic every November, October. Some lettuce or some hamburger or some chicken got salmonella, just to keep you afraid, But see, the point is this: is that what we have to understand is that the internet is a tool. It's a tool, and because it's a tool, it's just another instrument that we can use as a means to learn. We can use it as a means to teach, but it's also can be used as a means just for enjoyment, or talking to other people and things like that. And so then, yes, it's a devil in it, but it can be useful.
I like that. And we're a social people, as focused as we are on our devices, it's a device that's using us to connect to other people. So it's not even that, we're doing our own thing, but a lot of times people are, checking in with family or with their friends, or, it's just another method or way for them to communicate. But I would just urge people to be wary of the tool. If you don't know how to use it, it can be used against you. It will be used against you.
Is.
And I don't think that it's something that we should shy away from as much as it's something that we can master.
Yeah.
We've been the master craftsmen on the planet since the planet's had people on them. So, all the different tools that come out is an opportunity for us to evolve as the people and, make this information exchange thing kind of take off or go boom if we're not afraid of it.
But like Go Travel Abroad said, the issue is we own none of them. The supply chain, we don't support Black-owned social media, fan base, Abibitumi, etc. Of course, but I mean, even the Black Authority, Professor Black, Tariq Nasheed. Now they allow them to talk, and the thing is, this is that remember those platforms they control, but at the same time, it's kind of a crazy thing. This is what you have to understand: is that Nellie Fuller teaches us that they play both sides. They play both sides, and so on the one hand, you can think, on the one hand, you can feel free. On the one hand, they allow us to have these people. I mean, who doesn't love to hear the Black Authority in the morning? I'm kind of missing him. I hate he's taking a week off.
Oh, you mean Professor Black Truth? Yeah, Professor Black Truth in the morning.
Professor
Black. Hit my workout, get my coffee, and the truth.
Yes. I hate that he's taking this week off. I have nothing to look at, and the thing is, this is that, but again, they're useful. They're useful because see, they allow you to think you're free when you're in a sense you're tolerated. I'll put it like that. Not all the way free, but you're tolerated. And then also they let us become too important. Okay, they say we're 14%. We're not really 14 million people, 40 million. It is over 100 million Black people in this country.
Gotta be.
One day I might break down the census and show you why this is true. But the point is this: that it's 100 million of us. They don't know what to do with us, and now in a sense, because they don't know what to do with us, they tolerate us. But at the same time, they tolerate us because of the fact that they invented these laws, and that once we knew how to play the laws, and see, God bless a sister. What are you talking about, Dr. Winters? God bless a sister. Derek Bell, he once asked these two old ladies, he said, why do y'all keep doing the things you're doing? And they told him, they said, Derek, we like to get on the white man's nerves. That's why we fight. Many of the most significant Supreme Court cases that have proven to be helping us to get some of the things that we're allowed to do today were brought by Black women. It was grandma and auntie. It was grandma and auntie who told us that we had an Aboriginal background. It was grandma and auntie who see, grandma and auntie are our griots. Grandma and auntie is our Jolies. They're the ones who kept the family tradition. You see, because a lot of times after we were sold away from the plantation, grandma and auntie still stayed on that plantation, and they told their daughters, who became our grandmas and aunties. You see, so that's one of the reasons. And as I say every week, and I will say it again, if you go to the internet right now and you put in there slavery, about 100 pictures, about 90% of the pictures is going to be some white man whipping a black woman's ass. And that's because the fact is that they have to try to make, in a sense, the black woman quiet. That's one of the reasons why they try to encourage brothers to be mean to their women, be mean to their loved ones, be mean in a sense to their wives. Don't listen to their wives. Be mean to their girlfriends. That's because that European knows that the most dangerous couple on the planet Earth is that black man and that black woman. And if that black man treat his woman right, oh shit, you got the whole world. You got the whole world. I'm telling you, brothers. If your woman wants you to have something, you will have it.
That's right.
They have to say if they don't want you to have shit, you ain't gonna have it.
That's right.
That's why. Don't get mad at me, family. I didn't say this. Brothers, I'm breaking the code. But I'm gonna tell you something, ladies. That's why the average brother never quit a girl. He never quit a girl. You never. If you got game, you never quit a woman. You just stop calling them, and then you have them confused about them saying, "I wonder why he didn't call me. I wonder why. What did I do?" That's beautiful because see, if you tell them I quit you, she gonna start thinking about that dirty. I hope this doesn't. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope we bring them down. We're gonna get. He's no good. A smart brother never quit a sister. Don't you dare do nothing like that. You got to keep them wondering what the hell they did wrong, and in that way, in a sense, it's safe. I broke the code, brothers. I broke the code. I'm sorry.
No, we need some of the. Wait, that's a reality check. Don't say too much. Don't talk too much. You don't have to give up all the secrets, but some of those secrets, women aren't really listening anyway.
That's good. We don't want y'all to listen. We don't want y'all to listen. If you go ahead, don't listen because see, that is the wonderful thing is this. It was somebody I was talking to the other day, and they saying, Pops, I told my wife, the this and that, and then and she didn't even listen to me. But then one of her friends told her the same thing yesterday, and I told her that 2 years ago. But now she's talking about what her friend told her, and I already told her that. See, that's the beauty. See, that's the beauty of a woman. A woman will listen to some issue you got to say, but most would go in one ear out the other. But they get mad at you, and you do that.
That's a catch-22. No, you guys are supposed to make it easy and palatable for us to accept the fact that we can hear your message from other people, right? Because that's
yeah. It may take years. Chemistry Black Magic, Dr. Winters is the key to our ancient language. You have to chant in honor of our ancestors. I'm a chant, baby. I got a chant, baby. But no, the thing is is that it's out there, it's important. But family, yes, the technology is the devil. Technology leads us astray, but at the same time, technology is the devil. It's very important to understand that you can use this to our advantage. We need to have people out there that are putting positive stuff on the internet instead of all these fight videos. Come on now.
That's right.
And see, the more we put positive stuff on the internet, the more AI is going to pick it up, and you can see a change. See, we can control this thing, but see, right now it's the Europeans who dominate. Right now it's the Europeans who write the books. See, most of us are regurgitators, but you see, how many of our so-called Black scholars, they had a lot of good talk, a lot of good regurgitation, but they didn't write books, they didn't write articles. That's why I'm so proud of those people who've taken my research course, because they've taken my research course and now they're writing books, now they're writing articles. And it's very important. It's been almost 2 hours up. How'd you want to close the program? Any
Well,
last words?
I guess the devil, the devil, the people use the devil to, it's like a scapegoat. You know, if you don't understand something and it makes you feel bad or wrong, you know, that's the devil. And I find that, you know, once we start to really examine what things are or define them, then we have a better understanding of what it is and we can use it better. You know, if you're using the internet as a tool for communication, then maybe you go to places that are safe to communicate. You know, if you're using it to game, then maybe you go to gaming environments that make sense. But as it stands, you know, the nefarious ones out there, the ones on Demon Time, they're also looking for those environments too. The unsuspecting, the people who feel like they're in a safe space. And so as long as we're maybe considering that the internet is for everybody, uncensored, you know, then we can make better strides to protect ourselves. But I want people to remember that people only use what you put out there against you. And if you don't put
Uh-oh.
it out there, then they can't use it against you.
True. But at the same time, they can use it against you, but maybe you can build up a strong thing. See, because a lot of times you say things and family, a lot of times we say things, at least I say things that I want people to think about. See, my name is Clyde Winters. You know, Clyde is an old English word that means in a sense he who is heard from afar. Winters mean cold blooded. So a lot of times what I say, you're not gonna even you're gonna say, damn, I don't know what the hell is he talking about. But then in a day or two, you're gonna say, maybe Dr. Winter said something right. But this is it, family. You guys have a good evening and get your white hoodie.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB or find me on X at Justice, the number 4, Just Us. That's JUSTICE, the number 4, JUST _US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.